The necklace was silver, delicate, and shaped like a lotus flower. Its petals curled inwards, cradling a tiny sapphire in the center, her mother's birthstone. Liana had worn it every day since her mother passed, and in many ways, it was the only thing anchoring her to a world that no longer felt familiar. She stood in front of the mirror that morning, her fingers grazing the necklace's charm. Her mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Strength isn't in your fists, my love. Sit in your calm when the world tries to shake you." Liana closed her eyes, drew a breath, and slipped on her dark hoodie, zipping it up to her neck. She tucked the lotus beneath the fabric, not because she was ashamed, but because she had learned to protect what mattered. It was her 3rd month at Ravenwood High, and the loneliness still clung to her like frost. She wasn't the new girl anymore, but she might as well have been invisible, except to the bullies. That morning at school, she walked through the corridor with quiet steps, her head down. Laughter erupted near the lockers, loud and sharp. Kind of laughter that wasn't about something funny, but someone vulnerable. "Hey, ninja girl." Didn't look up. The voice belonged to Madison Reeves, queen of sarcasm, star cheerleader, and self-declared goddess of ridicule. "You practicing your silent monk thing again?" Madison smirked, flanked by her 2 shadows, Crystal and Zoe. Liana didn't respond. She kept walking. The lotus against her chest warmed slightly from her body's tension. Madison fell in step beside her. "You know, it's rude not to answer. Or is that part of your, what was it, karate code?" Liana paused and turned her head just enough to meet Madison's smirk. "It's Taekwondo," she said softly, "and one of the tenets is courtesy. You should try it sometime." Crystal and Zoe gasped dramatically. Madison's smile sharpened like a blade. "Oh, so you do talk," she said. "Cute." Liana kept walking, but she could feel the heat in her chest, the kind that came before a storm. After school, Liana went straight to the community martial arts center. The wooden floors smelled of sweat and pine oil. The air rang with the rhythmic thud of gloves on pads. Here, she wasn't the invisible girl. She was a warrior, a black belt. Master Sung greeted her with a nod. "You're early." "I needed the quiet," Liana replied, cueing her hair back into a braid. "You bring the quiet with you," he said, handing her a sparring helmet. "But remember, stillness is not silence. Speak when it counts." She nodded, and they bowed before stepping into the ring. Each kick she delivered was clean, precise, each block a dance of muscle memory. She fought not to dominate, but to release, to stay whole. When the class ended, her body buzzed with calm energy. She changed back into her hoodie, refastening the necklace. As she stepped out into the cold evening, she didn't notice the car parked across the street to her, the figures inside watching. The next day brought gray skies and heavy clouds. In the cafeteria, Liana sat alone as usual, sketching cherry blossoms. In the margin of her notebook, reminded her of spring days spent under the tree in her mother's garden. A tray slammed onto the table in front of her. Well, Madison said, sitting down uninvited, sketching flowers. "That's deep." Liana glanced up, then back to her drawing. Madison reached over and flipped the notebook shut. "You're such a freak, you know that?" Liana's fingers curled slightly. "I'm not bothering you," she said calmly. "But you are bothering me," Madison replied. "Just existing like you're better than the rest of us. Like you're some kind of Zen master with your little trinket necklace." Liana's eyes sharpened. "Don't touch it." Madison leaned forward. "Why? Is it magic?" "For." Liana could stop her. Madison snatched the chain around her neck. There was a snap. Time froze. The chain broke. The lotus fell. The tiny sapphire skittered across the floor, clinking against a chair leg. Liana didn't move. Her face was stone, but her breath trembled. Madison laughed, holding up the broken chain. "Oops, Guess it wasn't that strong after all. All around them, students had turned to watch. Some were snickering, others looked shocked. No one moved, except Liana. She bent down silently, picked up the lotus charm, and cupped it in her hand like an injured bird. The broken chain hung from her fingers like a piece of lost time. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She just looked up at Madison, and what Madison saw in her eyes was not anger. It was focus. That night, Liana sat at her desk, holding the broken lotus in her palm. The silver chain lay beside it, its fragile links bent and useless. Her fingers trembled as she reached for a small wooden box. It was her mother's, filled with tiny tools and beads from her jewelry-making days. She tried to repair the chain, but her hands were too tight with emotion. The necklace wasn't just a keepsake. It was a promise, a last embrace, memory she wore on her skin so her mother would never feel far away. And now, Madison Reeves had broken more than just a chain. She had pierced the only piece of her past that made Liana feel grounded. Greater than do not fight with your fists alone, her mother had once whispered. Fight with grace, with purpose. Your silence is not weakness. It's a storm waiting for its sky. Liana exhaled, wiped her cheeks, and placed the charm back in the box. She stood up, turned toward the wall where her black belt hung like a banner, and stared at it. Tomorrow, things would be different. The next morning, Ravenwood High was buzzing with rumors. Someone had filmed the incident in the cafeteria. The clip had already started circulating online. Madison snaps poor girl's necklace. Lol, savage. Mystery girl just stares like a ninja after getting bullied. There were even slow motion versions. But what no one knew yet was what Liana had trained for years to become. She walked into school wearing the same hoodie, her expression calm. But beneath the surface, something had shifted. She moved like the silence before thunder. Her eyes scanned the halls not with fear, but with clarity. The lotus was gone from her neck. In its place was emptiness, but not for long. Madison spotted her near the gym after second period. She was laughing, her arm looped through crystals, as if nothing had happened. Oh look, she called. The mute monk returns. Zoe joined in. You forgot your sparkly amulet today, ninja. Liana didn't even blink. You like to destroy things that don't belong to you. Madison scoffed. Please, it was a piece of junk. I did you a favor. Liana stepped forward. Her voice was soft but steady. Do you want to see what I do with things that try to break me? Madison grinned. Oh, you gonna fight me now? In the hallway, students had begun to gather, circling like curious wolves. Liana raised her voice, but just slightly. Not here, okay? After school, in the gym. Just you and me. That caught everyone off guard. Madison blinked. What? No weapons, no tricks, no crowd, Liana said. I want you to look me in the eye when I show you who I really am. Crystal let out a nervous laugh. Is she serious? Zoe looked confused. Wait, can she even fight? Madison, however, was already imagining the headlines. Madison Reeves, Queen of the Mat. She smirked. Fine, you're on. After school, the challenge. Liana stood barefoot on the gym mat, her hoodie folded neatly beside her. She wore her training gear now, a black top, loose pants, and the unmistakable belt around her waist. When Madison entered still in her jeans. Excuse, said sneakers. She froze. The belt was real. Black dot. Crystal and Zoe whispered behind her. Dude, she's serious. Wait, is that a real black belt? Liana stood calm, centered, her arms by her side. I'll give you one more chance, she said. You can walk away. Madison hesitated, but the pressure of watching eyes and her own pride sealed her fate. Asterisk, I don't back down from nobodies. Asterisk, Liana bowed. Then prepare yourself. The moment the match began, Madison lunged. Asterisk, no technique, no thought, just raw, frustrated energy. Asterisk, Liana sidestepped with ease, guiding Madison's momentum past her. She didn't strike, not yet. Asterisk, Madison spun, swinging wide again. Asterisk, Liana ducked, pivoted, and tapped Madison's shoulder from behind, sending her stumbling forward. Asterisk, fight me, for real. Madison growled. Asterisk, you're not ready for that, Liana answered. Madison screamed and rushed again, this time leading with a kick, but Liana was already midair, spinning. Asterisk, her foot connected with the side of Madison's leg, not hard enough to injure, but just enough to send her down. Gasps echoed through the gym. Liana stood over her, expression still. Is your anger worth more than someone else's memory? Asterisk, Madison looked up, dazed. What? Asterisk, you broke my mother's necklace, Liana said. But you didn't break me. You just reminded me who I am. Madison groaned, rising slowly. Do you think this makes you better than me? Asterisk, no, Liana replied. It makes me free.